Hello everybody and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Millie and I post at least 3 times a week on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday. Cruelty free, usually drugstore affordable makeup reviews. However, I do treat myself to some little indie eyeshadow palettes every now and again, and that is exactly what we are talking about today. I have got the Beautymoon Cosmetics Unveiled eyeshadow palette, the most delicious rainbow neon UV reactive eyeshadow palette. I absolutely love this palette and I'm excited to be using it for 3 hopefully completely different looks today. I've currently only created look number 1, so let's wait and see. I'm going to try and not do a bright green in a corner for every single look, but I want to because the green is incredible. And I will leave this palette linked down below as well as my first impression. And if you want to pick this palette up, you can use my code Millie15 to save 15% off. I did purchase this palette with my own money, but if you want to pick it up as well, Millie15, that code is affiliated, you can pick that one up and save yourself a little bit of money. But like I say, this is the first look I'm going to be showing you through today. Bright green in a corner. As I was creating this, I was like, oh, I look like, you know, those little fruit salad sweets, the little chewy sweets. That is the vibe that I've gone for today. And then I will be showing you look number 2, this look here with the Unveiled palette. And then lastly, look number 3, I will be showing you how I created this look, talking you through all of the steps through this one as well. So if you want to see how I created all 3 of those looks, give you a little bit of inspiration, if you have this palette or if you have something similar, just keep on watching. Okie dokie, so look number 1, and it should be no surprise to anybody that I don't know what I want to do. I know that I want to use Opal Glow because I haven't used this one yet, and let me just swatch this one so that we'll swatch the shades that I'm going to use today actually so that we can figure out a vibe together because I don't know. I don't know what my plan is. So this has got like orange and purple. It's definitely got green, but I do want to do, I've got a vision for a green look that I want to do for work tomorrow. So look number 2, you'll see me at 6 AM. But I do think I want to lean more into the orange, maybe orange and pink. And then this across the lid. And then potentially the green on the inner corner. Because I don't think I'm going to do the green on the inner corner for the green look. And that could go nicely with the oranges and the pinks. Let me swatch the shades that I'm thinking. So Daydream, obviously the orange shade, I love that one. And then maybe Passion. Are we forming a look here? Something like this, and then maybe Veil on the outer corner, which is the dark purple, although I do definitely want to use Veil for a purple look as well. Why is that swatch going so appallingly? My skin's very dry today. Yeah, maybe this. And then the green on the inner corner. Let me swatch that with my thumb. I've had so much coffee today. I'm like, I need to get home from work and I need to film 7 million videos because Heatwave 2.0 is coming and I can't film in the heat. Yeah, I think that this is the vibe. We've figured it out, right? Let me just wash my micellar water. Let me clean myself up. I'm a mess. That's better. So I already have my Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer all over my lid, and let's go in with a fluffy brush into Daydream, that orange shade, and I'll use the mirror in the palette. Let's put that sort of on the inner half of the crease. I do love this shade. Obviously I'm always drawn to the more warm tones, but I do very, very much love this shade. It feels like a colourful neutral to me. I just love it. So let's blend this out. I don't want this to be too dark. I want to really blend this through the crease, a little something like that, a little bit more on this side, a like so. Then let's take a small, more precise brush and let's go into Passion, that hot pink, and I'm gonna put that up above the crease on the outer half. Obviously blend it into that orange. What sort of shape do I want to go for today? More rounded? Maybe more rounded. Let's wait and see. I've figured out the colour story, and honestly that is more than what I usually do. So let me have that, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. And then I'm just buffing over the top edge of that pink, just with the edge of that orange brush, the brush that I was using for the orange, just to soften that colour out a little bit. I will stick with this same small brush and go into a very small amount of Veil, which was that darker purple. And it is more of like a sort of hot pink toned purple. It's a beautiful, beautiful shade. I absolutely love the undertone of this. Honestly, in like winter, like autumn and winter, this is the sort of shade that I would just pack on the lid, do a big wing and call it a day, because it's such a beautiful sort of rich, warm undertone. I absolutely love it, but for something a little bit more creative, I do try and do a little bit more something not just one colour all over the lid when I'm doing these 3 looks with videos, although of course these sort of shades absolutely lend themselves to a tacky eyeshadow primer, something more like the Lot of Life from Troublemaker, and sort of really graphic packing on these really intense colours. Like, can you imagine that green packed onto a very tacky eyeshadow primer, sort of very sharp wing? Delicious. I absolutely want to do that look, but probably not in this video because I feel like that's just a little bit too simple. But if you want to see it, I'll do it. If you want to see that look, I will absolutely do it, but maybe not in this video. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see what look number 2 and look number 3 are, because I know what I want to do for look number 2. What do I want to do for look number 3? Who's to say? Haven't thought that far ahead yet. I don't even know how this look's going to turn out. Anyway, I'm just using that same brush just to softly blend that purple into the pink. Now I will just use that same brush. I will wipe it off on a bit of tissue. I usually wipe it on my leg, but I don't want to get eyeshadow all over this dress, so wipe it off on a bit of tissue. And I'll just use this same brush and go back into Passion, which was that hot pink, and just tap that next to the purple just to soften that across the lid a teeny tiny little bit. Soften that over that way. Yes, happy with that. So then I'm just going to take my finger and go straight into Opal Glow, fully taking advantage of the fact that I've got short nails currently, and let's just tap that all over the lid. That shade is exceptionally pretty. This is definitely the sort of one and done, like, special shade that I would just whack all over the lid, like for a very quick, mindless, I just want something very pretty and very sparkly. I would whack this all over the lid just with a bit of bronzer through the crease. You know, for a 3 looks with video, I'm already up to 3. That shade all over the lid just with a bit of bronzer, the green packed on like a graphic line, and then the look that I'm actually doing. You're welcome. I'm giving you all of the inspiration today. So I'm just using whatever's left on my finger there and tapping it up above the crease. And because this is like a multi-chrome, duochrome, delicious shade, where it catches the light, it goes different colours, and it's definitely going like very pink and like very orange. But then I think when you get that green right on the inner corner, I think that that's going to look exceptional. So let's just tap over there with just the brush that I was using for the orange, and then I'll tap it over the outer corner with that smaller brush, and I think the lid is done. I think I want to like round this out, and because I'm going to do that green on the inner corner, I might do a green wing. You might just have to let me do it, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face. I definitely could have done my face because these shimmers aren't like glittery, fluffy shimmers. They are sort of creamy and you don't get the fallout from them. They are incredible, but I think I'm happy. I need to stop fiddling. Let me go ahead and do the rest of my face, and then we can add that green right onto the inner corner because that's gonna just be delicious. I need to not do it in every single look, but let me have it for this one. Please and thank you. Okie dokie, so that is the rest of the face done. We've gone very, very glowy with the blush, but I wanted something nice and warm to join in with what we've got on the eyes, so I've just used a bit of the Technic Glow Veil Luminous Baked Blush in Blissful to tie in those beautiful warm orangey tones on the eyes. In case you're wondering what this delicious blush is, that is what I have got on the face. So I'm going to run some of that Daydream shade, that orange. I'm going to run all the way along the lower lash line, and I think I'll use a little bit of that Veil shade, that purple, just right on the outer corner of the lower lash line and really like round this out so that it's nice and sort of smooth and sort of circular on the outer corner, and then obviously I'm going to do a wing. Obviously, but I want to do the green on the inner corner first to see what tone of green eyeliner I want to use, because obviously it's me and I've got a few options. So just adding a small amount of that purple. This is almost a take on like a sunset eye, and I'm obsessed. I love it. I love this palette. Tori really did something with this palette. It's incredible. So I am just going to add a little bit of the Beauty Bay white eyeshadow primer. Just add a tiny little bit of this right onto the inner corner. Not that this green needs it. It absolutely does not. It's incredible. It is so bright. But I want to keep this sort of quite precise. So I do want to just sort of encourage this to not completely take over all of these incredible warm orangey tones. So I'm just taking a really tiny flat brush and just very lightly tapping the white eyeshadow primer in, which will help it absolutely will, but this shade is incredible all by itself. You do not need a white eyeshadow primer to make this shade sing. It is so good. So I'm going to take a small brush, very small brush, and I'm going to dip into Electric Lime. Tap off the brush because I don't want this to go absolutely everywhere. And I'm just going to lightly build up this green right onto this eyeshadow primer, but just in some light layers so it doesn't go absolutely everywhere. And I'm keeping this very precisely right onto that inner corner. Oh, that's a lot of fun. I feel like I look like, oh no, what were they called? I've got Tutti Frutti in my head, but that's not the one that I'm thinking of. The sweet, and it was in like a wrapper and it was square. A fruit salad. I look like a fruit salad. The sweet. Does anyone else remember those? Oh, I haven't had those in the longest time. They were so good. I wonder if they were plant-based. I bet they were. I might have to find some of those sweets because they were so good. And it's late at night and I haven't had my tea yet. And now my mouth is watering. But there we go. That is the look. I am thrilled. I might actually just with what's left on my brush there, let's just tickle a little bit of that green over the top edge. Just the tiniest little bit of green right under the brow bone. And then let's go ahead and do a wing. I don't know what wing, but I'm gonna do a wing and mascara, and then we are done for look number 1. I don't know how we're gonna beat this, but you know what, I will try. There we go. So look number 1 for the Unveiled palette is done. It is the Made by Mitchell Make a Mark liquid liner in Seafoam, because I thought that's a slightly more green, like warm toned green liquid liner. So there we go. Look number 1 done. Onwards to look number 2. Okay, so look number 2, you join me first thing in the morning. So if my face is looking puffy, if I'm even more incoherent than usual, I've literally just woken up. So let me off, okay? So I was just looking over some pictures that I took actually, because I did a look the other day and I wanted to sort of recreate it but do it a little bit differently. I'll put a picture up here. I wore this look for work a couple of days ago, like a week ago, and I really liked it, and it was using the green, the luster shade. So I wanted to sort of recreate it. I want to add in a little bit more yellow on the inner corner because I went quite heavy with the orange, but I have just tapped out the Troublemaker Lot of Life eyeshadow primer because I've already done the rest of my face and I don't need green shimmer going all over my face and ruining my day before it's even started. So I'm going to go straight into that luster shade, which is the green shimmer, so that I can really press that onto this eyeshadow primer while it's still exceptionally tacky. And this shade is so beautiful. Would you almost say that this is like a chartreuse? I don't know, it's just beautiful. It's like a vibrant lime yellowy green, and it's so pretty. I mean, obviously I love green at the best of times, but there's something about the undertone of this one. I have nothing like this in my whole collection. I absolutely love it. It's so pretty. So I'm just tapping that on carefully where that eyeshadow primer is still real nice and tacky, and I might come back to that at the end, but I just needed to get that colour down so that it didn't fall all over my face. And let's go in with a fluffy brush, and I'm gonna go into a bit of Daydream. I'll go into Daydream and Euphoria just to try and get more of a yellowy orange tone on the brush there, and I will buff that over the top edge. I went quite pink on the outer corner, and I think I want to do that again. I know I did like the orange and the pink through the crease for the first look, but this green shimmer across the lid is just exceptional. It's so good. So I'm just trying to mix those colours together, brighten up that orange a little bit. So obviously the orange Daydream is more of a like burnt orange, so mixing in a bit of that yellow, just like I say on the brush, like dipping into both, that really does brighten it up beautifully. I very much enjoy sort of mixing shades in the palette like this, like I'm just dipping into both to get both shades on the brush. Good little trick if you need an in-between. Then I'm just taking a smaller brush and I will go into Sunlit, which was that more reddy toned colour on the top row, and I will put that further out. I'm thinking actually I might incorporate, what am I thinking? I don't know what I'm thinking. It's so early. My brain hasn't started up yet. I haven't had a coffee. I don't usually film first thing in the morning because I'm not a fully functioning human until I've had a coffee, but needs must today. And needs must. I'm actually just going to take that sunlit shade onto the lid, onto the outer corner of the lid, and let's put a bit of that under the eye as well. Why not? I'm only going off to work. In case you're wondering the kind of makeup that I do for work, this is it. This is what I do. The little old ladies at the cafe that I work at, they love to see my eyeshadow come in. It brings them a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of joy. I'm here for it. So just really packing that sunlit shade on the outer corner. I do think I still want more yellow up in the inner corner, so I might get like a fluffy brush and just sort of buff over everything on that inner corner with the yellow. Why not? I'm just going back in with that first brush that I used. No more colour on it, but just to wiggle over where that pink is meeting the orange so that those two are nicely blended. And I will just use that same brush again. No more colour on it, but just something a little bit more fluffy, just to buff out the top edge of that pink. Also under the eye, I'm just going over everything, blending. So now what am I thinking? I'm thinking I want something a little bit darker on the outer corner, so let's just use this same brush and I'm going to go into Noir, which is the dark blue. Just tap that right onto the outer, very outer corner. Obviously I'm going to be adding a wing. Of course I am. I'm going off to work, and just wipe that brush off and then buff out that very small amount of blue. So I don't want this to overtake it, but I do just want to deepen it up, like right on the lid. A little something like that, like I said, just to deepen it up a little bit on the outer corner. And then I'm going to take a big fluffy brush and I'm going to go into Euphoria, that bright yellow, and I'm just dipping very lightly into that. Woo, tapping off that brush, and I'm just going to, yes, I'm just going to buff over basically all of that inner corner with the yellow, just to add more of that yellow up there. I love this look. Is it a lot just to go off to work, just to make coffee for people? Yeah. Can I get you any sugar or sweeteners? This is the look that I go for. This is like what I wear for work a lot of the time. I love it. So let's go ahead and add a wing. I might actually just add a little bit more of that green, that luster. Just tap a bit more of that over the lid, but carefully. carefully. And I think I am good. And like, there's tiny little bit of fallout, but not a ton. I'm very happy with how this has turned out. So let me go ahead, do a wing, do mascara, and then we're done for look number 2. There we go. So look number 2, all done. I'm trying to refrain from putting too much mascara on because I want to be able to see this incredible green. But there we go. That is look number 2. With the Unveiled palette. I feel like this is a similar vibe to the first look, but honestly, that green on the lid, that green shimmer is exceptional. I absolutely love that shade. So I think for look number 3, I definitely want to do something more purple. I haven't done too much with the purple shades, like these 3 and then this one. I think that's what I'm going to do for look number 3. I'm staying all the way away from that black. That black absolutely terrifies me because it's so pigmented and it will just overtake everything. But maybe the blue to deepen something up, but definitely more purples, because I feel like we've done the orangey, warmer tones. We've done a little bit of the green. But that is look number 2. And let's go on to look number 3. Okay, so look number 3 with the Unveiled palette, and I definitely think I want to stick in this middle row. Maybe not the pink, I think we've already used the pink. So like the 2 matte purples here, this purple shimmer, and then this shimmer on the bottom row, which is blue, but if I just swatch that, it's the shade Moonlit. It is more sheer, and it's definitely got a purple shift to it. It's almost like an ultraviolet sort of an effect. Like the way that shifts is incredible. So I definitely want to use that. I'm also thinking Mystic for like a little bit further out. Let's just go ahead and swatch the whole vibe. So that's Mystic. Then the 2 mattes, obviously the purple mattes, Ethereal and Veil. I know I've already used Veil, but let me have it. Definitely want to use Ethereal and then Veil. Again, these swatches are not great because I'm just doing them very quickly, but something like that. Sort of the vibe. Let's just play it by ear. So I've already got the Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer on. Let me just make sure there aren't any creases in that, and I'm just going to start with Ethereal, which was that lighter purple tone, and I'm just going to use quite a small fluffy brush, and I'm just going to run that. What shape do I want to do? Should we do a halo? Let's do a halo. When I tell you I don't have a plan, I really mean it. I never have a plan. So let's do a halo eye. So let's pack this on into the crease on the inner and the outer corner of the eye. Buff it out a little bit. Then let's get, what brush do I want? The one that I always use. The Cosmic Brushes CB4, and I'm going to go into Veil and pack that right onto the inner. That shade is incredible. That Veil shade is so good. Have I used it in every look for this video? Probably. I do very much enjoy it. It's almost like a plum. It's beautiful and warm. And obviously I just love a purple at the best of times, so let's just buff that into that first purple. Go back into that first brush. Buff out the edges. Start to bring this in a little bit. I think that this will work out well actually as a halo eye with that Moonlit, that really bright, right down the middle of the eye. I think that this will work well. Hopefully anyway, not that it matters. I've got nowhere to be, funnily enough. Funnily enough. At the end of the day, got nowhere to be. There we go. So I think I am happy with that shape. Ish. I think so. I'm just going to use that same brush and I'm going to go into Sunlit. Or do I want Passion? Let's go for Passion, the hot pink. And I'm very lightly just going to use that right on the edge of Veil, just to soften down that edge a tiny little bit, just so that the multi-chromes have something to like go over the top of. And I think this pink will work quite well. So like the very centre is still bare, but just blending that darkest purple out teeny tiny little bit, and then we can get to the fun bit. Then we can add the delicious shimmers, duochromes, etc, etc, but just really lightly tapping over the edges of that darkest purple. So I'm just going to use my finger and I'm going to go into Mystic, which was that darker shimmer, and I'm going to put that all over this middle section, and then I will brighten up right down the centre, and I'm tapping this over the the bare area where it's just eyeshadow primer, but also the pink at either side to soften that colour in. And I'm just taking this shimmer up to the crease. So we're going very dark and smoky. That's fine. I'm going to lighten it up with that next shade. Don't judge it just yet. I don't love a dark shimmer, but I feel like this is a way that I'm trying to find ways around a darker shimmer. So I feel like a lot of my palettes I've been testing recently have had darker shimmers. So it's like I need to figure out how to use them in a way that I enjoy, because there's just been so many of them. And I get it, like obviously it's for different skin tones. Not everything is going to be my perfect shimmer, but I need to figure it out because these shades are beautiful. So that's that darker shimmer, and then I'm just going to take Moonlit, which was that brighter one. I'm going to tap that right over the centre, and this one I'm going to take up above the crease so that you can see that shade when my eyes are open, and that really does pop. Like, it makes the eye pop because that shade is so bright. When that catches the light, that's incredible. So I will tap it very lightly over basically everything because that shade is incredible. And then let's just do a little blend just so there aren't any like harsh lines, but these shimmers are incredible. I'm just going to go back in with a little bit more passion, which was that hot pink right on the edges. Yes, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I think I am happy with how that is looking. I feel like you can't necessarily see how incredible that that shimmer, that what was it called, Moonlit. Can you see how bright that catches the light? It's so good. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up under the eye. Let me turn my torch off. Yeah, I'm gonna clean up under the eye. I want a wing. I want something nice and smoky under the eye. I do feel like when I do a halo eye, wing really looks good, but then I also always think a wing looks good. Do you get bored of me doing a wing? Answer down below, answers on a postcard please. Do you get bored of me doing a wing in every single look? Because I feel like I get bored of saying it. So you must be bored of seeing it, surely. But I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face, and then we can finish up under the eye together and decide if I want a wing or not. You know I do, but am I gonna? Let's wait and see. Okie doke, so that's the rest of the face done. I think I'm just going to stick with this teeny tiny little brush, and I'm going to go straight into Veil. I think I want to stick with the purples. I was toying with the idea of a green on the lower lash line, but I think I want to stick with the purples for this look just to try and keep it somewhat cohesive. So let's just run this all the way along, I guess. I mean, it's like muscle memory at this point, isn't it? I didn't decide to do that. My hand just did it. I'm not in control of it, but I do want to sort of round out. I did sharpen up, but I want this to be a little bit more round right on the outer corner. Same on both sides, obviously. Just like that, just a nice little smoky purple under eye. You know I am never ever mad at that as an option. So I'm thinking about my next step. Thinking I potentially want a pop of yellow right on the inner corner. Is that rogue? But also I feel like I want it. So yeah, you know what, we're here. YOLO and all that. Let's go ahead and pack Euphoria right onto the inner corner. Yeah, that was the right decision. I will bring that along the lower lash line a touch. Yes, that's fun. That is fun. I don't necessarily feel like, quite often when I do these 3 looks with videos, I try to do something that is more neutral, what most people would consider everyday. I would absolutely wear this every day. That look that I did for look number 2, went off to work, wore that for a full day, came home, took it all off, and now I'm doing this look. I would absolutely wear this for work. I absolutely would. I love colourful makeup, and you know who else loves colourful makeup? The little old ladies that come into the place where I work. They love it. And I think that they would absolutely love this pop of yellow on the inner corner, and who am I to not do that? Because it's incredible. So packing that on there, and you know what, I'm just fully leaning into, I'm a predictable kind of gal. I'm gonna do a wing. I'm just gonna do a black wing and mascara, and then look number 3 is done. I've gone a little bit different but also firmly still in my comfort zone because I love fun colourful makeup. There we go. So that is look number 3 all done. I love this look. I do. I love the purple and the yellow together. But I do think my heart is just in look number 2 with that green shimmer, even though obviously this palette has incredible like multi-chromes and duochromes, and like this shade that I've used down the centre of the eye today. Even though this palette has all of that, there's just something so special about that green. There's something so deliciously unique about the tone of that green, and it's not shifty or like a special shade in any way. It is just a shimmer, but it's an incredible shimmer. So I do think for me look number 2 has my whole heart. But honestly, all of these looks I have just absolutely loved. But this is look number 3 all done. I would love to hear which of these 3 was your favourite as well. But that is everything for the 3 looks with video with the Unveiled eyeshadow palette. I would love to hear which look you have loved the most out of these 3. I'd love to know if you have this palette, what colour combinations you've been putting together. I'd also really like to know if you are going to recreate any of these looks, either with the Unveiled palette or with whatever you have in your collection. I want to hear about it. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye!